Phoenix of the team.
Psycho killer, huh? That's who you are now? Okay. Okay. All right, folks. Let's get them started, huh? Welcome back. We got another episode of Chart Talk coming at you. I got a webcam. Look at that. Look at that, huh? We got August 23rd. I'm calling it the dog days of summer. Final 2 weeks of the summer, slowest volume of the year. Generally a choppier environment. The big wigs are still kicking up sand at the beach as we're pounding away at the keys here, us little guys. So without further ado, let's hop into the market outlook. All right. So what we get, we finally got that market downturn. And if we ever got that, let me share my screen here. So we finally got that market downturn. I don't know, did we ever put that chart talk from last week out? Did it ever make it out?
Yeah, yesterday.
Wow. Okay, great. So glad that finally made it out. We had a debate last week about whether we were going to touch 460 or 400 first. It looks like I'm winning that battle. We finally got the stock selling off this week. We came in contact with the 200-day simple moving average perfectly. So I'm very mad at myself. I called this move perfectly, but I didn't really make much money on it. I was trying to short the stock too much. Our buddy Mike Higgins is up about 200K in the past 6 days, shorting the NASDAQ and the SPY. So I'm a little salty right now myself, my performance. But regardless, we had the huge run up June to July. We finally saw, right as people started saying new bull market, that's when the selling comes in. I still think we'll test this 400 area. We could come down to 380. I don't know if we go lower, but we're starting to see all the similar market dynamics come into play. Let's talk about it. So tech had this huge run up. XLK, that's finally started to cool off. Let's go. We're talking about the 10-year, right? The 10 years been working opposite to the NASDAQ and tech and growth stocks. We're seeing that tick up again, which, in turn, markets ticking down, NASDAQ ticking down, tech ticking down. And we're beginning to see energy once again tick up. So I think energy is going to lead the next few months. We were talking about utilities. It looks like it's time for utilities to come in a bit. So I'm expecting this. They'll chop around, in my view. And that's why I think energy is going to be going to catch the bid. I think we see the same action that we saw in the beginning of the year. Remember the beginning of 2022, so this huge run in energy that coincided with the NASDAQ just getting decimated. That's kind of what I think we see happen in the next few weeks. So I'm going to be trying to get long energy names, things like that. That's pretty much how I'm looking at things. Unshared. How you doing? What are you thinking about?
All right, so very similar. Okay. All right, so again, you touched on a lot of the sectors that I was going to touch on. Again, utilities, first sector to touch new 52-week highs. Talk about the retest all the time. When things look, the most perfect or the best at the retest, often the time when the last person's kind of chasing it, that's when we want to look to take profits. We were talking about buying utilities up through 152 in the beginning of August. We got this nice run up. Now that it's rolling back over, we also want to take some profits and just be aware of that price action. Again, you touched upon energy already, so I'm not going to spend much time there. The only other ones that really weren't mentioned was the industrial sector and the Dow 30 trading very similar. Again, we've seen this amazing run up. Again, we were buying a lot of these sectors in the beginning of August, and they all went on these just insane runs, buying them off of support when they looked horrible. And just when they looked the most beautiful, that's when we want to take some profits. They ran into resistance here. They're starting to roll over, and this is when we want to take some profit. So it's buying on the way up, selling on the way down, and that this is hopefully a good visual example of that. Where we're buying.
I'd like to chime in. It's unbelievable to me how all these sectors traded so perfectly from a technical analysis point of view. They broke out from the bottom, ran straight to resistance, and then they start selling off. It's like very eerie almost. And like the S&P 500 with the 200-day moving average, it comes and touches it 1 cent, and that begins to sell off. Just weird technicals.
Yeah,
they do work.
even for these, like to catch 20 points in industrials in a month, it's pretty insane.
Sick.
And on they just never look back. It's like we just kind of got in, and it was like these were like high beta swing trades in an entire sector that are just
right.
You don't see these that often.
I mean, look at the utilities chart is unbelievable.
Yeah,
like industrials are known for moving, at least in utilities. What? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So Have you
real
seen
flight to
the
safety.
price? Have you seen the price of electricity in Europe?
I'm not.
It's going to be a cold winter, and it's going to be a hot winter in the utility sector. I'll tell you that much.
Well, yeah, I mean, a big thing other than, again, you mentioned a lot of sectors, we touched on a lot. Big thing here is most major sectors have ran into their major resistance relative this weekend. So we're talking about NASDAQ running to 3,600, SPY in the 200-day. A lot of these other major sectors, all the same thing, just running into major resistance, material sector, major resistance here, retesting these areas. That's the time that you want to take some profits. And now everything's kind of resetting. So I'm going to stop sharing now, but very hands off broadly for now until the dust kind of settles, it seems.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What do we like, or what are we doing? Good trade,
bad trade.
Yep. Let me run through both of mine real quick. So let me just talk for a little second here. All right, we're back to sharing. So top ideas. There's a few of these earnings names. I was actually just on a call with Blake, and we were kind of talking about what strategy he should focus on. We're kind of discussing shorter term strategies, and we were looking at these charts, and it led me to these nice little earnings flags. This NBIX, this is a nice one. Waiting on this $108 level right here. We want to enter. I'm simply just gonna have a buy stop through 108. So what do we like about it? We like the huge earnings move. It shows demand, shows they had great earnings. The Wall Street likes these earnings. Now we're seeing it go sideways, and then we're seeing the volume contract. We're seeing that volume dissipate. So that then when it takes out this 108 level, we want to see that volume come way, way, way back again. You can't really see it. It's faint on the chart. You can see the high volume, down to the low volume. 108 is where we want to take it. Again, involved in that one. Another one's this IONS, IONS. So what do we love about this chart? Has earnings, and it just explodes up to this resistance level. Now we can zoom back. We see this nice, huge base forming that's been forming since March 2021. Now it finally looks like it's somewhat ready to take on that resistance because it has the strong earnings power behind it, and now it's making this tight little daily flag right in front of the level. So bias of all fuel to this 45, add to that 46, 25 area, keep the stop at 43, and let that one take off on its own. I'm still sticking with this NOC. This one kind of backed into a prior resistance level, sort of support. It's not a hard level; it's a soft level. This 480 to 500 area. So we got to pivot today. We were buying this 475-ish right here. Jay called this one out. I added through that 480 area. So I want to see this one push up tomorrow through this 486. And if it does, I'll keep my full stop below these lows, 479.67. What else do we like? And then the energy sector, it's like this Exxon Mobil. Yes, it just broke out yesterday. It was the best entry, but I'm going to keep my eye on this one for a pullback buy. If it does pull back to this 94, I like that one. Same with the CLR. This one, we saw a lot of these energy names make a huge pull in from highs. This one really only pulled in 15%. So we like that. It kind of based in front of level. Pulls back to the 70, 69 area. That one I'll get back involved in. And this NOV, I should have bought this one today. I wish I had, but another oil and gas name. And I got my research to do. I think there's a bunch of energy names all setting up. The thing is that, and you see what I'm looking at here in the NOV where I want to buy through this $18, $19 level. The thing with the XLE, I think it's going to be strong, but it also just broke out. So I'm not looking for entries tomorrow. I'm going to wait till these things consolidate and give me another entry towards the the support area, and that's really what I'm looking at. Here, I'll go over my good trade and bad trade real quick. Keep me chatting over here.
Here we go.
Start with the bad trade, huh? Start with the bad trade. Mr. Shake stops too tight. Oh, you can't see when I bought it. So we like the CYTK. We like this all-time high resistance level here, turning into new support off this earnings power. So we can see it's trying to turn the support area, this resistance area into new support. We were buying off this support area. I was buying this day. I was buying around 50, 51. And then I got tailed out below 49, the low of this day. We look at a 15-minute chart. And I got tailed out just below 49. The stock goes down a little bit lower, like 48.25 or so. But now we see it ripping back up to 52. Looks like it's going to go after this 54 level and begin to break out. And I will have no stock. In fact, it took a loss in it. And it was a pretty decent loss there too. So I could be better on that part, taking less size, giving wider stops, especially in these crazy names like CYTK is. And good trade is this Oxy. We were buying the hell out of this Oxy. Sometimes you get a little lucky with news coming on your side. So what do we like in this Oxy? And this goes back to the energy thesis, where energy had this huge run up in the beginning of the year, and the top kind of came in. We saw gas prices come in a lot, and people wanted to call tops out. Like the trend was just going to kind of just give up, and it was just going to downtrend right away. But what we know usually happens is that stocks consolidate before they want to move higher. So Oxy's just been really going sideways between 57 and 65. So then I noticed it started getting really tight on this daily chart. Tight on the daily right before the 65 level. So intraday wise, I started buying it. Literally just against the 63 area. So I was buying something. I was like, I'm buying the top end of the range. Let me buy smaller at the 65, kind of wait for the day to come through. I didn't see the volume yet. So then the next day I'm buying the 65 and I'm just buying against the 63, just $2 stop. And then we see the volume start to come in, and then I add right at the macro level, this 66. And then it just explodes. It comes out. Warren Buffett's trying to take his stake from 20% to 50%. So, I'm kicking into strength. Then I didn't kick any yesterday, and I was mad at myself. This is the funny part of emotions in the stock market. Everything pulled in yesterday. Stock sold off. I didn't sell any Oxy, but I had a rough P&L day, and I just held too much stock from Friday to Monday. So I was mad at myself for not kicking. And then today we get that breakout day, and I get to kick some stock. And at the end of the day, you know what I think, Bennett? At the end of the day, after being mad at myself all Monday, I'm thinking I should have my whole position. Why did I kick any stock when one day prior I'm sitting there going, how can I not take more off before the weekend when the market's just beginning to sell off? So then we have the breakout day today. And so not only was I the dumbest trader in the world yesterday for not selling stock Friday, I was the dumbest trader in the world today for selling any stock. Yeah, right. So I love trading, man. It's a real joy. It's a real joy.
Never right. It's never good.
Never right. Yeah. There's always you're never gonna be perfect, but you can never be perfect, and you just gotta trade against yourself. It could be so simple. What are you doing over there? Share the screen. Let me know what you're doing.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so good trade. We have this UPS. Again, it's been a long-term trade. We've been in this name all the way back since when we bought it. Up to this little base was 160. Added a couple times. The most recent add was up to this 190 in this base break in this UPS. And it's honestly just been trading very nicely since. And the goal here is to obviously hold until it retests. We were talking before, or I was talking before about retest when we want to take profits. I don't know, Shake is moving his flowers. Are those real flowers?
I'm creating the real flowers. Come on, I'm in Cali, baby.
Good man.
Yeah, you like that? Just clean up the decor. I got a webcam now, so I got some background. I got a little background. You like that?
So I'll put some flowers up next week.
Yeah, post the flowers. Only real ones,
Only real, yeah, of course. But yeah, so as I was saying before, we showed some examples of the retest. Well, I want to take profits into that. So for me, with his UPS, if and when it gets back up to that retest 230, I'll probably look to take some profits at that point. Much shorter term trade was this Pepsi blue sky breakout through this 178. And a big mistake I have made this year is giving back smaller wins for a break even. And that is something that I am consciously trying to take advantage of when I see them. So for Pepsi, this is a joke of a trade dollar wise, buying 177, selling 180, it's $3. Who cares? But this would have came back, this would have been a break even trade. So I'll take the $3 gain per share. And if it shakes out 177 or whatever it is, I'll buy it back, in a couple days or a week or two when Pepsi sits back up. So again, I made some money in Pepsi, nothing crazy. It was sleep over, still in this UPS that's doing very well. And then names to keep on the radar. We got this Dollar Tree, again, super tight.
Yeah, wait on these earnings. Definitely wait on these earnings.
In 2 days, again, PSX, this energy name, oil and energy being strong lately. And kind of going, but want to keep on the radar. AWK, utilities name. Again, we talk about utilities kind of topping out, and we're seeing this name kind of rolling over. But the fact that utilities has been the first sector to retest new all-time highs, it's probably the one that, Jake, jump in.
If you think utilities are going to cool off, and this seems to be the only utility who hasn't broken out, Is this a name you think you want to focus on?
No, not for, I'm saying, when, if and when utilities turn around up to this 160 base break, I don't think it's gonna go tomorrow, it's probably gonna roll lower, but whenever this thing wants to break 160, that's when I wanna, keep an eye on it. And
Sure.
lastly,
It's fair.
also kind of with this BMY, again, this BMY 76.
Oh man, I got short this today and I fucking mooked out of it because I was like, I don't need the risk. That's too
Yeah,
late. I'm starting to think these things are shorts. The way
Yeah, I mean,
getting
honestly,
projected,
so
but
even like this BMY,
whichever way yeah.
it's, whenever this wants to break 76, all for it. But again, I'm like with you. I think that this thing's gonna smoke the 72 way before it's gonna break the 76. But again, if this is in 6 months,
We'll
this
see.
comes off, so be it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But really, I'm more focused. I think this Dollar Tree. The only crappy part again is earnings today, so they're probably gonna gap this higher and fade it, and not make it an easy kind of opening range break up to that 170. But that's again.
Yeah, well, I mean, the easy theory is that people are scared about a recession, so they're going to start shop at places like the Dollar Tree more. Their guidance and their earnings should be great, given the rough economic landscape that we're expected to have over the next 6 months. So, very much looking forward to those earnings tomorrow.
All right.
All right. Hey, wait, no, I mean, we're trying to get a little topic to discuss. No topics this week. So hoping you break us down a little lesson. So give kids a little story. What are you doing? You're starting an Airbnb.
All
wanna
right, so
hear
we
the
always
story.
say, I think I should be a lawyer at some point. No, I'm kidding. But the lesson for this week that I've learned, or what I've been learning this month, has been, you talk about learn before you earn. I did the opposite of that with Airbnb. I listed my house on Airbnb without learning the rules of my town, started renting it out, making great money, almost basically a 2 comma day a day. That's what I rented my house for, which was, 3 days for the month is my mortgage. And rented out a bunch of times. Someone on my block snitched on me. I was not aware you couldn't do it in Wyckoff in my town. Apparently you can't. Very white collar town. Building department comes, hits me with all these fines, maximum fines, basically double dip. They gave me building code violations, and then they gave me the same violations through the municipal court. So I got like the same fines kind of doubled over.
Double dipped you, huh?
Yeah. So I had like
double dip.
It was I don't know, like 10 or 12 fines, whatever. All kind of ticky tack stuff, but maximum $2,000 for each one. So it adds up pretty quickly. And throughout this process, I figured out these things I got fined for, and some of them the town had already approved me for them, not for Airbnb, it wasn't allowed, but for other things. So this guy's trying to fine me for them, and I'm going and meeting with this guy, and he's like, "I'm fining you $2,000 for this." And I'm like, "Well, hold on. Here's a piece of paper that you signed. Shake, you signed this paper. You're fining me $2,000, but you signed this paper that I did it the right way. So how are you fining me for that?" And so he's like, "Oh, I'll do you a favor. I'll get rid of that." Well, you're not doing me a favor. Like, you fine me for things that you did. Like, that's not you do me a favor. That's you kind of being negligent with
dick.
So long story short, I pretty much got this. It was, I don't know, $14,000 in fines, a little bit more, and I've gotten it down to say 6. And I was going in there on Monday, willing to give the guy the 6 and just be done with this whole ordeal. But the day prior, a friend of mine who came to the track, who was going to become a member, invited me to his house on the shore, and his stepdad is a building code inspector. So I'm like, this is what I'm battling with. Let me talk to this. Like, here's my fines, here's the violations, this is what I've been doing, X, Y, and Z. And there's an appeal process. And I didn't want to appeal. I wanted to just work with this building code guy and just get this thing all resolved. And the guy I met with is like, you have to appeal this. He's like, he's giving you the max fines anyways. You have no downside in appealing. All they can fine you is the max, which he's already giving you. So if you don't appeal it, you're just paying on the highest end of the range no matter what.
Right.
If you appeal it, you could probably get most of this stuff thrown out. So I was like, all right, done deal. So I go to meet him Monday.
Simple, yeah.
When I was willing to give this guy the check to just be done with this whole ordeal. And I speak with the guy the day before. I'm like, all right, I go and I appeal it. I have to go to, a different town and do this whole process to formally appeal it. Bring the lady some donuts, some coffee. This lady in a different office. I moved up to the county now. I was dealing with the town. If I want to appeal, I have to go to the county. I'm moving up in the ranks, so to speak.
Yeah.
this lady helps me do the appeal, the whole thing. I'm like, all right, what's the next steps? Blah, blah, blah. You know, what should I prepare for? Should I get a lawyer? Da, da, da. She's like, well, I'm on the appeal board. I'll be the one like running this case.
This whole, yeah.
And this lady like loved me. Like I brought her donuts, brought her coffee, we were just chit chatting. And she's like, why is he giving me these max fines? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like trying to work with him. Like, I don't know. He doesn't like me. I don't get it. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. She's like, do you want to do the like?
Like, like trying to be so handsome and shit. Like, I don't get it.
And I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to. I brought him donuts too. So pretty much Monday, I was willing to pay the $6,000. Now I'm cannot wait to fight this in court with. She's on the board now, so she's going to be the one who kind of bangs the gavel on who's right or who's wrong. So again, I didn't know. I did not do what we do. We tell you to learn before you earn. I tried to earn before I learned. Now I've learned so much about building code violations and the proper way to do things related to building and renting that it was a great lesson. You know, I have to still pay the $6,000. It was I've learned so much from it that it's been kind of fun, like figuring out all these kind of rules and like getting the fines down. And now seeing that I might get it all kind of thrown out, that's kind of a slam dunk that I was going to spend this money a day ago.
Yeah. No, sounds like a big win and a good lesson for all of us. Learn before you earn.
So learn before you earn, which is one of these books. It says it, but apparently, I didn't read that chapter.
No. Yeah, you skipped over that one. Well, it's 1:40 p.m. I first sat down at this computer at 5 a.m. I think that's it for us today, folks.
All right, guys.
With further ado, catch you guys next week.